Hi, how are you tonight? So my name is Courtney and I passed the BTLPT years ago and I've been tutoring ever since. Um, so tonight I thought we would do some practice on the oral expression because for most people that's the hardest part of the test. But before we get started, I'll show you some data. If you Google EPP passing rates, TEA, you can see this is by Texas Education Agency, puts out data on the number of people taking their test and how many people pass. So you can see this is from September 2019 to August 2024, right? And if we scroll down and click on, look at BTLPT, you can see only 55% of the first time test takers pass the test, right? But that's actually a little bit better than it was a couple years ago when it was 53. For some reason, it was higher in 2019. It's gone down quite a bit. Um, so most people that contact me, Spanish is their first language. That I would say over 90% of the people that contact me, Spanish is their first language. So I think the people that contact me are pretty representative of the people throughout the state that take the test. And so you can see that it's a hard test, even if Spanish is your first language, right? So now let's look at what the test covers. So if you Google Texas NES-INC manual, this will come up. And then this is the same website where you go to register for your test, but I'm going to click on prepare, scroll down and click on BTLPT, and then click on overview and exam framework. You can see that it says it's 5 hours, but right here it says that it's less than 5 hours. It took me about 3 to 3.5 hours to do all the sections. There's 84 selected response questions, that's multiple choice, and 7 constructed response, that's the speaking and the writing. Listening comprehension is 21% of the exam, reading comprehension 26%, oral expression 29%, so that's the biggest part, and written expression 24%. So that's one reason too I like to do the oral expression because that is the biggest part of the test. So now let's look at the oral expression. You can see there's a simulated conversation, 2 question and answers, an oral presentation, and supported situation opinion. The conversation is pretty easy, I think. You get 5 turns to talk for 20 seconds each, and you're just having a conversation. Somebody's going to be speaking to you on a recording, and you reply. So that one I don't think is too hard for most people, but the question and answer is a little bit harder. You're presented with a scenario, and then you're given a question, and you have 1 minute to think and take notes. And then you hear the question a second time, and then you have 1 minute where you have to talk. And a lot of people run out of things to say after 30 to 40 seconds. They don't fill up the whole minute, but you want to respond what they call fully and appropriately. So that's why they miss points because they're not speaking long enough. They're also not using the correct register. That's the level of formality. We want to use cognitive academic language, not informal, you know, basic interpersonal communicative skills, but the cognitive academic language. So that's the question and answer. Then we have the oral presentation. For this one, you're given a scenario that you have to address, make an oral presentation about, and you have 2 minutes to think and prepare, take notes, and then 2 minutes to talk. And it's the same thing for supportive situation opinion. You have 2 minutes to think and 2 minutes to talk. So this dot-free guide has a lot of practice that you can do. But tonight I thought we would do something from my course. That way you can see something, maybe you've already looked at this, you can look at something else. So my course has everything, listening, reading, lots of reading, um, practice speaking where you upload your own assignments to get feedback, and writing where you get examples of how to do it well and learn where the accent marks go, and then you upload your own assignments, right? But let's look at um, the questions. So for the question and answer, I'll read the whole instructions. It's kind of long. For this assignment, you will be asked two questions related to information provided. The first screen will appear and you will see instructions for the assignment and have 15 seconds to review the scenario presented on screen. When the 15 seconds of review time is complete, the exam will automatically advance to the first question screen. The audio presentation of the question will automatically begin. You will not be able to pause, stop, or replay any portion of the assignment. For each question, you will hear the question followed by 60 seconds of silence. Use this period of silence to prepare your response to the question. When the preparation time is complete, the audio presentation of the question will then be repeated, and you will hear a tone when it is time to begin speaking. You will have 60 seconds to complete your oral response to the question. You should respond as fully and appropriately as possible. The response you provide during the specified response time will be automatically recorded. When the response time for the first question has ended, you will automatically be taken to the next question. When the response time for the second question has ended, you will automatically be taken to the directions screen for the next assignment. You will not be able to return. Okay, so let's look at the rubric and how they grade you. All right, so let me scroll down until we can find the rubric. This is a really long document. I might have already missed it. Maybe it was up higher. Okay, that's the simulated conversation. Here it is. So to get a perfect score 3, it's actually going to be out of 9 points on your score report because 2 people grade it and then they use a multiplier. So a perfect score is 3, but it will show out of 9 points on your score report. You need to fully address the task. What you say needs to directly relate to the topic. That sounds obvious, but a lot of people get off topic. Your details need to be appropriate and effective. Your content information needs to be accurate. That's as far as addressing the objective. Did you hit the objective? Is it correct? Is it well developed? Now here's for your language use. You need to show a high or mid-high degree of control of a variety of structures. A few grammatical errors occur with no evident patterns. Very vocabulary appropriate for the content used with precision. High level of fluency, very good pronunciation, well-organized, generally coherent response register is appropriate, accurate social references included. So this means you're using the right level of Spanish. So a lot of people use Spanish in their everyday lives at home, but they don't know the cognitive academic Spanish, and that's what we're expected to do on this test, right? So we want to use real formal Spanish. I'll give you an example. If you're talking about lunch, a lot of us in Texas say lonche, right? But on the test, you want to say almuerzo. That's just one example. So we want to use the more proper formal Spanish. So now let's look at a scenario. And then I have, this is a free tutoring session, but I have a paid group of people that meet on Tuesday nights at 7:30. And we meet for a whole hour and we practice all of the speaking tasks. And we practice tons of listening and reading and talk about all the writing. And in that session, people consistently participate. And I encourage you to participate here too. So if somebody will be willing to participate tonight, that would be great. So we'll look at the scenario. We'll take 1 minute to take notes, and then 1 minute, and then we'll hear the question again, and then 1 minute to respond. So use your minute to think and try to get out of your comfort zone and be willing to present, because I'd love to hear somebody present tonight. So here's the scenario. Imagínese que un padre le hace las siguientes preguntas. So let me set a timer because we're going to need a timer. Okay, so here's the question. ¿Cómo puedo ayudarle a mi hijo a mejorar su comprensión de lectura en español? So 1 minute to take notes. Okay, so now I'll repeat the question and we'll have 1 minute. Does anybody feel comfortable presenting tonight? This is a no judgment zone and we'll keep it all positive.
I'll give it a shot.
Oh, that's great, Ana. ¿Cómo puedo ayudarle a mi hijo a mejorar su comprensión de lectura en español? 1 minute.
Me da mucho gusto que se siente a gusto venir conmigo a preguntarme estos tipos de preguntas. Lo que puedo ofrecer es ciertas opciones que puede ayudarle a su hijo en la casa, en su hogar. Primeramente, lo más básico es leyendo con su hijo todas las noches hasta en su lenguaje principal. También lo que puedo ofrecer es llevarle unas tareas que puede hacer en su casa y los pueden hacer juntas, igual todavía leyendo en la casa. Y al último, también puedo ofrecerle el lunes, hago tutorería y con gusto le puedo ayudar en eso.
Thank you. That was well done. So
I
you
tried.
you did great. You addressed the objective well.
Ujú,
You used the correct register. It was formal Spanish. You used usted instead of tú. You spoke almost the whole time. So
ujú.
you did great. If I had to like try to find something you could do better, if I had to like just try to think of something, I would say maybe some more concrete specific examples. For example, por ejemplo, puede decir, usted puede enseñarle a usar las estrategias metacognitivas para que pueda aprender a ver si está entendiendo lo que ha leído. Por ejemplo, si está leyendo usted en voz alta, puede decir a sí mismo, No entendí esta parte, voy a leer esta parte de nuevo para
Como,
entender bien. O no
como
entendí esta
preguntarle
palabra.
como preguntarle preguntas de la historia si está entendiendo lo que está leyendo.
Right. So modeling metacognitive strategies, estrategias metacognitivas. So you didn't do anything wrong, and I think that would earn a very strong score. But I always try to think of what can we learn and talk about. So maybe just some more concrete, like research-based ideas. But what
Got
you
it.
said was spot on because reading together, that's what research shows. You keep reading to your
Ujú,
kids even after they can read on their own. Some people think, oh, they can read on their own. I'll tell them to read before they go to bed. But no, we keep reading to them because that's how they learn critical thinking. So
got
it's not just reading, it's critical thinking and it's time together and it's getting them ready for a good night's sleep. So you keep reading. My daughter's 10 years old and my husband still reads to her every night and I read to my 4-year-old every night. Nobody reads to the 16-year-old, honestly, because there's only two of us and three of them. But she reads on
it.
her own and at least she's 16. And I always invite her in if she wants to hear like some of the little kid stories. They're kind of fun, you know? So I always
Uh-huh.
invite her in to listen to a kid's story. But what you did was awesome. Do y'all want to try one more?
Sure.
Great. So
I
here's,
have a question.
oh yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So you recommend for us to like introduce ourselves like, hi, how are you? And then like say the question, like repeat, por ejemplo, hola, ¿cómo está? Mucho gusto. Gracias por venir. Yo le recomendaría para ayudar a su hijo así como en una oración.
Definitely
¿Sabes?
repeat
Como,
the question because that's going to set the stage and something quick like buenos días, buenas tardes, gracias por venir, something quick
okay.
to introduce, but nothing really long because then you might lose points on not having enough substantial evidence. You know what I mean? If you're spending all your time,
Uh,
buenos días, gracias por venir, espero que se encuentre
uh,
bien, and we're doing all of our stuff on that, we didn't have time to develop our ideas.
And then repeat some of the question, right? Una de
Yeah,
las cosas
restate the
para poder
question.
ayudarle a su hijo. Ajá.
A
Okay.
mejorar, right? You want to restate the question. So good question. So here's the second one. No hablo inglés. ¿Qué puedo hacer para ayudarle a leer mejor en inglés? 1 minute to develop your ideas. Okay, great. Does anybody want to present this one?
Go for it, Estela. You got it.
All right, let's see it. Estella, you up for it, or is it too much pressure?
So I'll try.
No or yes?
Sí, sí, sí.
Oh, gracias. All
Okay.
right, let's hear it. 1 minute. Oh, let me read it again. No hablo inglés. ¿Qué puedo hacer para ayudarle a leer mejor en inglés?
Bueno, una de las cosas que puede hacer para ayudarle a su hija en el inglés será buscar el vocabulario en un diccionario para poderlo reforzar el vocabulario en inglés y seguir leyendo con él en español para podernos ayudar a nosotros también en la comprensión de lectura, ya que nosotros podamos ayudarle a él en el vocabulario en inglés, pero ya no sé. Ahora, what else should I say? Es que como que ya con el tiempo se me olvida qué decir, viendo el tiempo.
El tiempo.
Agreed.
You did well. It was just short, but your Spanish was appropriate. You hit the objective well.
Sí.
So some other ideas you could say is, um,
Me van las ideas. Es que volteo a ver el tiempo y se me olvidan todo, las ideas.
las ideas. Sí, puede, lo que dijiste estaba perfecto, pero puede explicar más. Por ejemplo, el conocimiento y el vocabulario se transfiere del primer idioma al segundo. Así que todo lo que hace en español va a transferir al inglés. Puede enseñarle las estrategias de comprensión de lectura y luego estas
Okay.
estrategias puede usar en inglés. Además, puede comprarle libros en audio que pueda escuchar en inglés
Ah,
porque usted no puede leer junto con él en inglés.
sí. Y
Puede
como
leer.
dice también, como reforzar en español está ahí bien,
Yeah. So what
porque
you said was
ujú,
right, but
ujú,
the only thing you would have missed points for is that it wasn't long enough, you know? And
sí, sí,
that's why
sí.
we practice a lot on Tuesday nights at 7:30. We spend a whole hour practicing, not every week. You know, tonight we're doing listening comprehension, I'm pretty sure. And some people tell me, well, I don't need to practice listening comprehension. But when I look at their score report and I do the math, most people get 70 to 75% on their listening
How
comprehension.
much is your program?
Yeah, it's only $39 a week, so it's pretty affordable, and it's like getting a college course because I grade your assignments and I provide the weekly tutoring and the course with all the practice for 39 a week. If you want to do it on your own, it's $119 and you get it for 3 months. So if 39 a week is not in your budget, you know, that would be around 160 a month, a little bit more with taxes. You could pay 119 and have it for 3 months and that would be, you know, more affordable. And you'd still get feedback on your assignments and you'd still get all of the course content, but you wouldn't get the weekly tutoring with the live practice. So most people do the course in tutoring because we practice together and we practice everything. And they really benefit from me teaching accent marks because I have a really unique way to teach that. I don't teach it the palabras llanas, agudas, esdrújulas, because what I've noticed is when I teach it that way, I lose people, right? So I found an
Sí.
easier way to explain it that I've taught to elementary school kids. And it works really well for adults too. So this is if you want the course in tutoring, which is what I would recommend because most people really like the Tuesday night group. And it's a great group. Right now it's I think I've got about 9 people, but some of them don't come. So it's a real small group. It's only like maybe 3 to 5 people that actually come, but they really participate. When we do the reading, you know, on the test, you don't actually get to read out loud probably because there's other people in the room. You're probably not going to be reading out loud, but we read out loud because we're practicing. And then we talk about strategies, vocabulary words, things like that. So we practice everything. And lots of people have been passing lately because I've been getting good text messages and emails from people that they've passed their exam, the BTLPT and the LOTE, because I do that too, and on core subjects, STR, PPR. Um, so I think you'd really like that. And if you sign up tonight, you'll get the link right away. It's in the course. In fact, I can show you the course, what it looks like. So this is what the course looks like if you sign up for the course in tutoring. The Zoom link is at the top. So as soon as you enroll, you get the link to open the course, and then the Zoom link is right there. I do email it out on Tuesdays also, but I already sent it earlier today. That way everybody gets a little reminder that we're meeting tonight and they come. But I think you'd like it, and then you can see what we cover each week. So last week we did written expression and the accent marks. Tonight we're doing listening comprehension and then reading and then oral expression, written expression, listening comprehension, reading comprehension. For most people, I recommend 2 months of preparation. But the good thing is, if you don't have 2 months, you can check out the recordings. If you join the course in tutoring, I have the recordings from the last 8 sessions. So you can get ahead or catch up or however you want to look at it. And then lots of extra practice here in addition to all of the course. Any other questions or comments or anything? And I want to commend you guys because sometimes in free tutoring, nobody will participate, and I do it myself, which is okay. But both of y'all stepped up and did it and did a great job. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I actually took the BTLPT, but that oral is just like I need to do more practice in
More
that.
practice. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a native speaker, so
Yes.
but
So it's not
but
the Spanish that's
I
getting
don't
you, it's
use
the
it.
practice.
I
Yeah.
don't use the Spanish as much.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I
you did very well. So I think y'all would like it.
Thank you.
It's a great group and a great course. You're going to learn a lot and get a lot of practical practice that tells you, gets you ready for the test. Um, but I'm excited for y'all. So please keep in touch and let me know if you have any other questions. I'll put my number in the chat box too in case you want to ask me something privately. You can text me. Um, but but I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll hope to see y'all in a future session.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.